Hey, have you ever wondered how Steph Curry, LeBron James, or Kevin Durant do it? Well, I'm going to show you the basics of basketball here in this video. For this, all you need is a basketball and a basketball hoop. Here I'm going to be teaching you guys how to shoot, how to pass, and how to dribble. The first thing I will be teaching you guys is how to dribble. First off, you need to have a very soft hand dribbling. So we're just going to show you guys. So your wrist needs to be relaxed. And okay, so something you don't want to do is have like a hard hand at all. So you don't want to, that's not what you want to do. It's soft, so you can cross over. And you kind of want like a rotation of it. Don't carry, that's carrying. It's just, you can't carry the ball, it's your hand. I'm gonna run through a few drills you can do to practice. First off, you could do 1 foot, around 1 foot. So that's 1. You can do figure 8, so you can go all the way around. Keep them small. Okay. Then you can do crossover in front. Oh, shoot. Keep them low. Soft hands, remember that. You don't want hard, you know. You have no grip at all on the ball. You're just gonna get it stolen. Next, you could do hockey, which is with one hand, and you could do these with both hands. And try and look up when you're dribbling, so that when you're looking down, you don't see any of your teammates. So look up. Okay, and lastly, front back. Just going front and back. The faster, the better. So that's all for dribbling.
Okay, so with the bounce pass, notice how my foot is pointed towards the person I am passing it to, and when I pass, my thumbs are pointed downward. This makes for an accurate pass. Now with the chest pass, I do the exact same thing, but I pass it to his chest. Okay, with the overhead pass, it is a little different. You would use this kind of pass when a defender is on you and their hands are up in the air trying to grab the ball. You see how I kind of flick my wrist and still point my fingers towards the defender to pass it to them. Now these are some ways you shouldn't pass it. Do not pass it at their feet where they can't get it. Don't pass it too hard to where it's too fast for them to catch it. And don't use one hand to pass it, because it will most likely get stolen and is way less accurate. Also, don't leave your feet when you are passing it, because that leads to traveling if there's not a defender. Now, if you're feeling a bit risky, you can go try a more advanced pass, which is behind the back.
Lastly, we're going to be talking about shooting. So for shooting, there's a couple steps to that. First step, you're going to have your elbow at like 90 degrees and in. If it's out, it's going to go way left, or if you're a left-handed shooter, way right. So, first off, you got to have the 90 degrees and in. Second step, you're gonna lay your hand on the other side, your offhand on the ball, and it should just be laying there, not tight at all. It should be just laying. To be a good shooter, you have to have confidence and know when to shoot. All right, another step in shooting is having a stance, and the correct way is square, but I like to shoot with a sideways stance. You know, it's kind of your preference, but so that's the stance. And then when you shoot, so you have your 90 degrees and your elbow needs to be in, your guide hand needs to rest on the ball, and then lastly, you need to follow through high and just flick your wrist. A lot of people say like flicking your wrist, like putting your hand in the cookie jar, or you know, stuff like that.
I'm going to show you a few angles on what the form should look like when you're shooting. So as you can see, the release is high, my elbow is in, and my arm was at a 90 degrees. With my reaction, this shot was butter. Now this is just a different angle, but you can still see that my arm is at a 90 degree when I shoot, and the release is high. This is the last angle, but you can still see that my elbow is in, my release is high, and my arm was at a 90 degree.
This is what it looks like when you put it all together. Keep going. All right, to recap everything, we started with dribbling. You gotta have a soft touch. You don't want a hard touch. So that's how you lose control of the ball and you get it stolen. We did passing, which we started with. There's 3 types of passing. There's the bounce pass, the chest pass, and the above head pass or the overhead pass. And then there's the fancy pass. That's kind of a fourth. That's more advanced, but you can do like behind the back or anything fancy, I guess. And then lastly, we talked about shooting. So to start off, we did the 90 degrees. Your elbow needs to be in. Your guide hand needs to be softly laid on the ball. And then lastly, you got to flick and release high to get a good arc so that the ball has a better chance of going in. So with all this you learned, you can take it to the park, you can take it to an open gym, you can use it wherever you really want if there's a ball and a hoop. And so I'm going to start off end it by showing you guys how I use it in a game.